Additional aids and services are available to individuals with disabilities. To make such a request, please contact us by email, by clicking the Help tab in the PD portal, or at pdportal@tamu.edu, by phone, including Relay Texas at 1-800-441-7323, or in writing to Train PD, PD Portal Support, 4477 TAMU, College Station, Texas 77843. Both a transcript and accessible document of the content presented in this webinar can be found as resources in the course description. Click on the blue links under Course Resources in the description. When a link is clicked, a new browser window will open.
Carrie Stell has taught in adult basic and secondary education classrooms for Grayson College Adult Education and Literacy for the past 13 years. In addition, Ms. Stell has presented workshops and webinars on reading and writing and relationships, engaging students' values, and reading and writing poetry for national and state AEL organizations. Personally and professionally, Carrie values encouragement, so she is grateful to share the uplifting resources she has discovered at PassItOn.com. It is my extreme pleasure at this time to welcome Carrie Stell to Tech and Tell.
Oh, Anne Marie, thank you so much. What you said is true. I truly do value encouragement. So I appreciate your kind words and your encouragement and the opportunity to share this Tech and Tell with all of you today. Sharing Positivity with PassItOn.com. This is part one of a two-part webinar series for Tech and Tell. So let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed billboards by the side of the road like this? This one says, cool under cabin pressure. It's advertising preparation. You may have paid attention to the news back in 2009 when an airplane that took off from New York City almost immediately, 3 seconds into the flight, struck a flock of birds and at 3,000 feet had to land an emergency landing on the Hudson River. This is a photo of that. Well, let's look at another example of a billboard by the side of the road. This one says, as a student, he was no Einstein. Confidence. Pass it on. And again, if you notice things about this billboard, you notice that it is Einstein, making a rather silly face. Apparently, he was known for his sense of humor as well as for his genius. But as a student, he himself was no Einstein. He was considered as a child to be a slow learner, possibly due to dyslexia and actually his very different brain structure, which they realized after his death. This is information at PassItOn.com. When you look at one of their billboards, which you can notice by the side of the road, you can also notice at their website, they include the backstory for their billboards. If you haven't noticed billboards, perhaps you have, perhaps you haven't, but you may have heard a public service announcement on television or at the movies like this. This one features Brave by Sara Bareilles. And if you have seen these billboards, if you have seen some of these public service announcements, then you've seen samples of the many resources at PassItOn.com. And if you have not, what I'd like to do at this point is share this video. We're going to go to the website, and here we are on the homepage of PassItOn.com. On the homepage, up at the top, their latest public service announcement. It is Roar, which features Katy Perry singing Roar. Plays silently in the background up at the top. You can click on it to watch it. If you scroll down, which is what we're going to do right now, scroll down the homepage, and you can see half a dozen more of their more recent PSAs, public service announcements. I'd like to play this one, 3-pointer, for you now, so you get a feel for their videos if you're not already familiar with them. So let's play this one now.
Sarah, you got this, okay? But they lost.
Not really. Not where it counts.
This leads me to our objectives for today for the webinar. We're going to be going on this field trip back and forth to the passit-on.com website. We'll explore the quotes, the videos, the billboards, newspaper articles, and many other resources that are found there. So that's what we are going to do today, but I'd love to share with you why we're focusing on passit-on.com. And it's because I have found that passit-on.com provides positivity and practice in my adult ed classroom. Focusing on positivity can lift our spirits, move us forward, and help us reach our goals. And of course, not just us, but our students as well. And reading and writing, speaking and listening can be improved by focusing on anything, including inspirational quotes, good news stories, eye-catching billboards, and engaging television and radio ads found at passit-on.com. And beyond that, passit-on.com encourages social and emotional learning. Recognizing our values and what is important to us can improve our self-awareness, sense of identity, and lives, the emotional learning component. And learning the values of others and what is important to them can improve understanding, sense of community, and relationships, social learning component. And all of these are some of the reasons why I have found this website just a rich resource for material to use in my classroom. On the homepage, the first thing you'll see is their latest PSA, public service announcement. But when you scroll down the homepage, you'll see other public service announcements. They're more recent ones, which you could watch. There's a link that takes you to even more public service announcement. If you scroll down a little further, you'll see inspirational quotes, ones that they have recently sent to those who subscribe to them. I'll show you where you can do that. Scrolling further down, we'll learn more about the Foundation for a Better Life, and that's the organization behind passit-on.com. And then down at the bottom of the homepage, we'll scroll down all the way to the bottom, we're going to find links to teaching values. These are the values that they advertise at passit-on.com, and it's under the heading Be Inspired. We'll scroll down there. But before we do, I'd just like to talk for a minute about that value-laden word, values, and how we can define it. I'm going to share with you my definition, and this is not a dictionary definition, but this is how I've described it to students in my class when we've talked about identifying our own values and identifying values that we would like to practice in our classroom. I define values as the qualities and ideas you believe to be so important and true that they give your life meaning and direction. And of course, your values, my values, our students' values, because we're all different people. We all have different values, and we want to recognize that and respect that and support the different values of everyone in our classroom so everyone feels safe and secure and comfortable sharing. Having said that, I will share with you, I've chosen 7 values advertised at passit-on.com. I'll let you know there are 140 that they have identified and have resources devoted to 140 different values. These 7, encouragement, persistence, self-worth, teamwork, listening, respect, focus. These values I'm putting up on the screen for everyone to see, because in a classroom prior to the pandemic, when I led the students in that class on a venture of identifying our classroom values, these are the ones that we all agreed that we wanted to practice and pursue in our classroom. It's just a fraction of the many values you can find at the website. So after we look at all the values that they have to share with us at passit-on.com, we'll return to the top of the homepage, and I'm going to point out where there are links to 8 different components at passit-on.com, and we'll take a turn looking at each one of them. We'll start by looking at the first component, which is quotes. They have pages and pages of quotes. They've got close to 2,500 quotes that they're sharing with us on their website. You can get a quote in your inbox each day. You can submit your email to do that. You can search for inspirational quotes on their site. And they also give you a link where you can go to their Facebook page where they share their quotes as well. So here we are at the homepage. Let me just point out up at the top here, the components, the 8 components I was just referring to. We'll focus on quotes in just a minute. And the other components are videos, billboards, newspapers, radio, blog, schools, and this globe represents 3 different languages that the website can also be viewed in. And then one of the features, of course, is a search. On the home page, when you scroll down past their newest public service announcement, you can see 6 more of their recent public service announcements. This is where I found and shared 3-pointer with you. When you scroll on down further past these 6 PSAs, there's a link you can click on to see their full public service announcement collection, all their videos. Scrolling further down, here's one of the several places where you can give them your email in order to receive a quote a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And they'll send you 5 quotes on one value. This week it was get outside. Last week it was forgiveness. After you see their last couple of weeks of quotes that they've shared with those who subscribe on the email, you can click on here to see all of their inspirational quotes. And again, you can subscribe to receive a quote a day from them. When you scroll further down, you can find out more about the Foundation for a Better Life. It has been around for more than 20 years. Their billboards, their television ads appear in more than 200 countries. Wanted to share this with you, the fact that they are not affiliated with any religious group, nor do we have any political affiliation, either formally or informally. Here's what they say about themselves. We exist solely to create and share uplifting messages that hopefully inspire everyone. At the bottom of every page on their website, I want to point out particularly this second column where it says Be Inspired. And underneath that heading, Be Inspired, where it says Teaching Values. This is the only place you can access their list of values. And so I'm going to show you right now what appears when you click on Teaching Values at the bottom of the page, the bottom of every page. And here are the 140 values that they advertise at passit-on.com, starting with acceptance, achievement, ambition, and ending with wisdom, wonder, you got this. That last video we saw, 3-pointer, that was advertising, you got this. Let me just give you a moment of silence for you to focus on some of these values and see if there aren't some that resonate with you or that you think would resonate with your students. I decided I'd like to share with you inspiration. I will tell you that when you click on any of these links to any of these values, they will show you quotes, billboards, videos, if they have them. Not all of the values have all of that underneath them. Let's take a look at inspiration. I'm going to click on inspiration and we'll see what you can find when you're exploring the value of inspiration on their website. First billboard is for Alex's lemonade stand. And Alex Scott raised $1 million to fight cancer, including hers. Inspiration. Pass it on. There's another billboard for Norman Rockwell, Saw the Best in Us. And a third inspiration billboard featuring Nelson Mandela. What can one person do? Well, as it turns out, change the world. You can click here and see all the billboards. Continuing to explore inspiration, you can watch their inspiration television commercial. And then you can see a slew of quotes that advertise inspiration. I'm going to ask that you enter passit-on.com. And when you go to the quote page, the second box you can fill in is inspirational quotes. Find the perfect quote and pass it on. And I just love to give you a few minutes to look around, enter a value, something that's important to you, some quality, some belief, some idea that is meaningful to you. Enter it, do some searching, see what you find. Let's search for inspirational quotes. You're going to go to the website at passiton.com. Click on quotes at the top of the homepage. It's that first of the 8 components up at the top. Click on quotes. And then the quote page will show up, and search for quotes to inspire yourself and your students. About halfway down towards the end of that page, and enter a value that's important to you, and search and see what quotes come up. See if there's some that are meaningful to you. There are 92 official Pass It On videos. In addition to that, there are 8 Art Center College of Design videos. There are only 8 of them. They're truly lovely, made by art students. You might want to check those out as well. The billboards, there are 77 official billboards. There are Is In You billboards, where they're not just advertising a value, but they're identifying that value and how that can be in you and in me. And then here's a super cool feature under billboards: create your own billboard. And they have 1,427 pages with 15 billboards on each of those pages. So they have more than 20,000 billboards that have been created by visitors to Pass It On. I can just see the teacher wheels in your head churning. This is something that our students could do as well if they're so inclined. And then the 4th component we're going to look at is newspaper articles, positive good news columns that are available free of charge to newspapers, but we can also download them, read them, and discuss them in our classrooms. Underneath the videos, they have official Pass It On videos, videos advertising parenting, love, caring, good examples, loyalty, sportsmanship. When you click on each of these links to the videos, they also show you the text for the video. And if it's a song, the lyrics for the video. Here's some videos on forgiveness, being there, love, making a difference, listening, and believing in yourself. And let me remind you, these are public service announcements. So we're not talking about a 5-minute video, not even a 2-minute video, but a 30-second video, 60-second, maybe 90 seconds, that focuses on each of these values in a way that, just like that one we viewed on 3-pointer, that really gets through to the viewers and can be a great discussion starter in our classrooms, I believe. Let's take a look at the billboards. We have official billboards, Is In You billboards, and create your own billboard. We've seen a couple of the billboards. Some of the more recent ones scroll across the top of the page when you click on billboards. And then as you scroll down, you can see who some of the heroes are. Some of the heroes, historical characters, some alive today, and some everyday heroes. The billboards here on unity, courage, and service. These were made during the pandemic, as you might imagine. When you click on any of these billboards, these are the 4 Is In You billboards. Currently, they only have 4. I'd be willing to bet they'll have more in the future. But each of the billboards, when you click on it, you not only see the image, you get a quote to accompany it. You also get the backstory. So I'm going to click on the one for Malala. Girls should learn history and make it. Courage is in you. Pass it on. And then when you scroll down from the billboard, you get a quote from, in this case, from Malala. I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is not. It is the story of many girls. And then below that, you can read about Malala and her life. And beyond that, this is one of those places on the website where you can read the backstory. Visitors to the website are also able to make comments, to share their values, to share their experiences. And I've got to tell you, I have yet to notice a negative one. I think the positivity at passiton.com is catchy. So let's click on creating your own billboard. At the top of the screen, you see several billboards that visitors to the website have created. You or your students might want to create your own billboard. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And it's much easier than you might imagine. First off, you'll need to enter a photo by choosing a file and downloading it over there on the right. You'll choose a value. Hear how they advertise this. They say, who is your everyday hero? We've all had people in our lives who have made a positive impact on us, either directly, like a parent or grandparent, a sibling who was there for us. Or perhaps it was someone in the neighborhood who you saw doing something kind for someone else. These are our everyday heroes. If you know someone who is an everyday hero, make them a billboard and share their story. And as I said, many, many people have done this. The guidelines are there. You'll want to take a look at them if this is an exercise you're going to do with students in your class. You can only use your own images or images from unsplash.com. You can't promote a business or an event or a political or religious organization. You cannot include profane language or personally identifiable information. But they tell you what you can and you cannot do. Once you submit it, they will review it before they publish it, but there's the chance that it may be published. Here's where you would upload a file. Remember, it needs to be one of your own images or one from unsplash.com. Here you would click to choose one of the values. This hero of yours, this image of yours, which of their 140 or so values does your hero advertise? So you would click on that and a short headline and then give them your email address. So a super cool activity to explore and maybe even to have students do. So now let's move on to this fourth component on newspapers. So these are positive, good news columns. They're free to newspapers and other nonprofit organizations, and they're free to us. We can download them as PDFs. We can download them as Word documents, even the images as well. And we can read these in our class and talk about taking care, not driving distracted, mentoring, being a light. We've got 85 of these on their website that we can take a look at. The fifth component we'll highlight is their radio ads, their public service announcements. They've got 43 of them available, and those radio ads are based on individuals in the Billboard campaign. The sixth component, these are their blog posts, inspiring true stories. They have 144 of them, all with accompanying billboards as well. They have a component devoted to resources for schools and other nonprofit organizations can get 3 free posters. You can't pick and choose which ones you get, but they'll send you 3 free posters and a DVD with their videos as well if you are a school or nonprofit. And then finally, want to point out how you can access 3 different languages, Spanish, Portuguese, and Chinese on the website. Let's take a look at the radio ads. These are short, many about historical characters, all advertising, making a difference, change, goodness, gratitude, a smile, pulling together. These were made during the pandemic. Let me go ahead and play this one for persistence. And again, this is a 30-second spot.
Pass it on. You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds. They're just pieces of coal put under pressure for a long, long, long time. So when I start feeling like I want to give up, I think about that little piece of coal. And if that piece of coal can make something of itself by not giving up, so can I. Persistence is in you. Pass it on. From passiton.com.
Next to the radio ads, here are their blog posts. You can also sign up to receive their blogs in your email inbox. And I believe they send them about once a week. I have often found one in my email and read it that day in class. These are our everyday heroes in our communities and around us. These are ones they have highlighted with billboards and with stories. I read one this morning for the first time, and I will tell you the truth, it brought tears to my eyes. Stories about a heroic teen rescuing 3 girls and an officer after the vehicle sinks in the river. High school boys practicing inclusion and made a lifelong friend. I've read that, and it was very moving. A wild Little League pitch becomes an inspiring moment of sportsmanship. When the young Little League player who was hit in his helmet went to first base, he left first base and went and hugged the pitcher, who was clearly very distressed that his wild pitch had hit him. So very moving, very powerful, very positive. This is where you can request the free posters, 3 of them, and a DVD for your school or nonprofit organization. There are links here to their other resources for schools. The globe here shows us that we can see the website in Spanish. You will notice that all the components and all the features are not present. Nevertheless, there is much that you can take a look at in Spanish. You can also look at the website in Portuguese, including some of the videos and so forth, some of the stories. I don't speak Portuguese, and I don't speak any of these languages, not Spanish, not Portuguese, and not Chinese. So for those of you who are working with students who speak these languages, this may come in handy too. On any page at passiton.com, you can scroll down to the bottom. And in this column where it says Be Inspired, at the bottom of the home page, at the bottom of every page, if you click on Teaching Values, their 140 values will come up. Choose one that is meaningful to you. Click on it and see what you find. If you don't find much there, click on another one. So when you scroll down the home page or any page where it says Be Inspired, underneath that column, if you'll click on Teaching Values, that's when all 140 of them pop up, and they're links. If you click on one of those, you can view what comes up. Just go on a discovery tour of your own.
One must have the adventurous daring to accept oneself as a bundle of possibilities and undertake the most interesting game in the world, making the most of one's confidence. The best proof of love is trust. Be brave, take risks, nothing substitutes experience. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but of the parent of all the others. Wow. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. So true. Oh, the longest journey starts with one step.
I'd like to share a quote with all of you in closing. This one here by William Arthur Ward. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. I hope you agree with me after you have a chance to explore passiton.com that passiton.com can help us, can help teachers inspire our students.
We hope you enjoyed this pre-recorded webinar. After you have passed the final test with a score of 80% or greater and have received your certificate of completion, please take a few moments to complete the course evaluation. Participant feedback helps Train PD at TCAL continue to provide high-quality professional development. To leave a course feedback, please go to the completed portion of your transcript. To do this, hover over the My Learning tab and select View Your Transcript. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the word Active and select Completed. Then, click Evaluate in the drop-down menu next to the course you just completed. Please note that your feedback is greatly appreciated.